9 out of 10 shoppers will not scroll down and buy one of these products. So how can you go from here to there?
To outrank your competitors, there are 3 strategies that we'll be discussing in this video. So jumping right into it, let's begin with the first step, and that's identifying your main competition. On Amazon, there might be over 500 products that are similar to yours, but of those 500, how many do you think are exactly like it? For example, this is the product we sell. On the surface, they're just generic pee pads for dogs. So when a customer searches for this keyword, technically we are competing with all of the products on this page. But if you couldn't already tell, most of these products here are completely different than ours. Coming back, you can see that we're not just selling pee pads for dogs. We're selling washable pee pads for dogs, which also come in a 3-pack, are reusable, waterproof, and are specifically used for potty training. These are called unique selling propositions. In other words, these are the specific benefits or reasons that a customer would buy our product over the competition's. It's really important for you to know how to find your product's unique selling propositions. So if you're interested, I'll put a full guide for you down in the pinned comment below. So after this video, make sure to check that out. Now, when tracking your competitors, you don't want to waste your time trying to outrank the ones appealing to a different type of buyer. It does you no good trying to increase your rankings on those keywords that are not used by your target audience. So now here's some actionable advice on finding your main competition. You first want to boil your product down to the one phrase that best describes it. For us, this is washable pee pads for dogs. But if you're not sure which phrase to use, you can use a tool like Jungle Scout to find the top keywords that shoppers are using to purchase your product. And then from here, you can pick the highest volume phrase that makes the most sense. Now, before I go any further, I just want to make it clear that you can still learn from this video, even if you're not a Jungle Scout member. All of these strategies are universal and they can be applied with or without our tools. Okay, so with your keyword phrase, go ahead and search for it on Amazon. Then scroll down a little bit and just confirm that the majority of these products are exactly like yours. If they are, you can open up the extension and copy the ASINs of the ones who are ranking in the top positions. Also, just make sure to skip over these sponsored products and only copy the ones that are showing up organically for this keyword. Now you can go back to your keyword tool and without removing your ASIN, just add those competitors directly after it. This will now show you all the keywords that both you and your top competitors are ranking for. But now, before you go saving all of these keywords to a list, just like our earlier example, you notice there's a few at the top here that are very generic, and that's okay. I know I said not to waste your time trying to rank for these types of keywords, but that doesn't mean you still shouldn't be tracking them just in a separate list. So in this second strategy to outrank your competitors, let's now talk about why you want to segment your keywords. When I say segment your keywords, what I mean is instead of creating one big master list, you want to organize your keywords into separate groups for each of your unique selling propositions. So in our case, these were the main ones. However, when it comes to our product, because our buyers aren't typically searching for a specific pack number, we don't actually need to create a separate list just for those keywords that include 3-pack. But that's just the case for our product. If you're selling something where the quantity does matter, for example, maybe you're selling something in bulk, like a 100 pack of clothes hangers, then it may be important to create a separate list just for those bulk related keywords. So now let me show you what this actually looks like. Here, you can see that we have 6 different keyword lists for our washable pee pads. This first one here is just a master list of all of our keywords in one place. And then these next 3 contain keywords that fall under one of our unique selling points. But you'll also notice that we have these 2 other groups here at the end. Now, if you truly want to start outranking your competitors, then you want to make sure to have both of these groups. Let's start with the first one, high volume. As the name suggests, these are the highest volume keywords from your master list that drive the most traffic to your listing. And this is all based on monthly search volume. So in our case, our cutoff was around the 1,000 search volume mark, which means any keyword above that will be included in our high volume list. Now in step 3, you'll see just how critical this becomes when you start tracking your keyword rankings on a weekly basis. But for now, let's move on to the next group. And these are your highly related keywords. Out of all your keyword groups, this is the most important one. These are the keywords that when searched for on Amazon only show products that are exactly like yours. For example, if you were selling a single serve coffee maker, technically you would be competing with all of these products for the term coffee maker. But when shoppers use a broad search term like this, typically that means they don't know exactly what they're looking for. And because of that, they're willing to consider a ton of different options, just like this example here. Right next to each other, we have a 2-way coffee maker, a drip coffee maker, an espresso machine, and a single serve coffee maker. That's 4 completely different types of coffee makers. This is exactly why you want to create a separate list with just your highly related keywords that drive intentional traffic to your listing. So now the question is, how do you know which keywords to include in your highly related group? Well, unfortunately, it's not as easy as just using your unique selling proposition keywords. For example, remember, one of our selling points is that our product is waterproof. However, if I search for one of our waterproof keywords, you'll see that all of these products are nothing like ours. So the word that seems to be throwing it off is blanket, because we're not selling a blanket, we're selling a pee pad. Now, because this keyword is still driving traffic to our listing, we still want to track it, but we just want to do that in a separate group outside of the highly related group. But if we do swap out the term blanket with the word pads, you'll see now that we're starting to see products that are exactly like ours. This is a good example of a keyword that should belong in our highly related group. I hope these examples are helping you better understand this idea, and if so, let us know by hitting the like button down below. Also, I mentioned earlier that we're putting some resources for you down in the pinned comment, and I'm also going to add another one to that as well, and this is our step-by-step guide to competitor analysis, so make sure to check that out. Okay, so once you have your list of highly related keywords, these are the ones that you should be tracking on a weekly or even a daily basis. So let's now get into the most important step in this entire process, and that's tracking your keyword rankings. Let me ask, do you know how many keywords you're ranking for on page 1? Or better yet, how many keywords are ranked within the top 10? In order to start outranking your competitors, you need to have a day-to-day pulse on both your organic and sponsored search rankings. Otherwise, how do you know where you need to improve? While you technically can track your rankings yourself, you would need to run a ton of searches each day and manually track your organic and sponsored positions. Honestly, this is probably why a lot of sellers aren't tracking their keywords right now. They just don't have the time to do it. But if you're serious about outranking your competitors, I'd strongly recommend trying out a tool like Jungle Scout that automatically tracks your rankings for you. Just like we have here, we're able to create separate groups for each of our keyword list. And now each day, we can come in here and see how many keywords are ranked in the top 10 or even the top 50 of search results. But where a tool like this really comes in handy is adding in your top competitors, which makes it so easy for us just to come in here and quickly compare where we stand in comparison to them. This is really helpful when you want to check in on how you're performing on your most important keywords. And for even more insights, click on any product here to get a much more comprehensive picture of the exact keyword rankings over time, all in one graph. You're even able to adjust the date range and go as far back as you want and toggle between organic and sponsored search rankings. But by far, one of the best reasons to track your keywords is that you can quickly find out which ones Amazon are not indexing, or even which ones are trending up and down, and which ones are less competitive and easy to rank for. Now let me go ahead and show you an example of how we're actually tracking our keywords on a weekly basis. So here I see that we've added an annotation to the graph, and it's for January 10th, just to note when we've added one of our keywords to a manual advertising campaign. So it looks like for whatever reason, we actually didn't have this keyword in any of our campaigns up until January 10th. So why did we decide to advertise this keyword? Well, to find out, let's go back 1 month earlier to December 10th. Okay, so prior to the 28th, it looks like we actually weren't even on the graph here. We weren't ranking for this keyword organically, and we weren't ranking for it with sponsored ads. But for whatever reason, on the 28th, we started showing up organically for this keyword. So most likely what just happened here is that we started capturing more sales on this keyword than we typically have in the past. And thankfully, because we're tracking our keywords and we're able to spot this trend, on January 10th, we decided to throw some gas on the fire and bid on it with a manual campaign. And as you can see, ever since we started bidding on it, not only have we increased our sponsored rankings, but we've also increased our organic rankings as well. We're actually getting pretty close to the top 10 just by focusing on this keyword more than we usually do. But okay, let's be honest here. We didn't come this far just by tossing this keyword into an advertising campaign. No, we made sure to fully optimize our listing to drive more sales from shoppers who are landing on our listing from that keyword. This includes having a product image that demonstrates the waterproofing capabilities, and it's also the very first selling point in our product video. Both of these assets are playing a huge role in helping us convert more traffic that comes from the term waterproof dog mat. But before you go worrying about sales conversion tactics, you first want to focus on your SEO strategy, because at the end of the day, this is really what helps you drive more organic traffic to your top keywords, which you can then hopefully convert on. We have a complete guide that walks you through how to optimize your title, bullet points, and description to rank on page 1. So make sure to check out this next video to learn how to dial in your SEO strategy. Thank you so much for watching this video, and we'll see you in the next one. All right, yeah, we go this side. I'm gonna do another intentional traffic ranking as well.